Hello and welcome to episode 137 of PubShorts. Title is everybody going crazy? I'm not sure myself. I might have, I might be going crazy, but my name is Dr. KK. I'm the innovation officer at Trinka and Inago, and I have with me Tony, who does not seem to be going crazy.
I have a simmering craziness in deep down, but thank you, KK. Welcome everyone to this latest episode of Pub Shorts, episode 137, entitled "Is Everybody Going Crazy?" which is named after the song by the band Nothing But Thieves. The song's anxious energy fits this week's stories about AI slop, retractions that won't stick, Wikipedia wrestling with trust at scale, and a growing sense that our information systems are wobbling even as we keep building on them. So it's an interesting time. I think in a previous episode I referred to, and that maybe it wasn't an episode where I referred to what the industry we're in as the Wild West. Maybe
Right.
it's an exaggeration, but certainly there needs to be greater control implemented.
Right. I'm ready to start with a story that has been making the rounds and attracting a lot of discussion in the STM publishing community. And it is an article by Kent Anderson, and its title, "Can You Retract from an LLM?" And it's basically something that I never thought about. And if you're wondering what it is, if suppose you use a research paper in the training data set of an LLM, and eventually the research paper gets retracted for some reason, does the knowledge can we remove that knowledge from the LLM? And that's a question that everybody's asking. And the author uses use two LLMs in medical publishing as case studies: the NEJM's AI Companion and Open Evidence by JAMA. And the preliminary answer suggests that retraction from LLMs might be unexpected, in the sense it is. Well, you may not expect what you want to because of the intricacies of how LLMs are trained. And the article eventually implies that the way LLMs process and store information, which is atomization, tokenization, and weighted content, might make traditional retraction methods difficult or impossible, which is a big concern, especially the public, considering that everybody is starting to interact with information through AI, through Gen AI based search and everything. So I'll stop here and ask for your thoughts, Tony.
Well, when I was reading this article, I read this article when it first came out. I absolutely agree with everything Ken said. I normally Ken writes brilliant articles anyway, and I tend to agree with most things he says. He's really understands this space, and I think he used to be the editor in chief of New England Journal of Medicine, so he understands this space very, very well.
Right.
I am concerned about retractions. I am concerned about the impact retractions are having on the use of LLMs, for example. And if they're not being retracted, then how effective, how good is any information you're getting from the LLM?
Right.
I do think there's an opportunity here, though. I do think there's an opportunity. This is for an industry initiative.
Right.
Where if the industry can develop an LLM where these retractions can be removed, and it's used, when I say the industry, I'm talking about the STM publishing industry here.
Right.
I think there is an opportunity here to create something that's unique where those retractions can be withdrawn, and if you like, the LLM re-engineered or reprocessed. If the industry can find a way of doing that, then it's going to take the emphasis away from some of these larger, more generic models, which may or may not care so much about the detail about the micro detail of our industry, whereas we're obsessed by it.
Right. Interesting. So, this article elicited reactions from industry stalwarts, thinkers. First, from David Warlock. So this is David Warlock's post: AI use and the issue of science article retraction. So let me switch to my notes here. So just a second. So in his response, David discusses the challenge of retracted scientific articles being included in AI training data. Historically, dealing with retractions in print was cumbersome and inconsistently applied. So Kent Anderson's critical view on open access, open science, and AI is mentioned, but the author finds that it encourages a more optimistic, forward-looking approach. The key problem is that once data goes into an LLM model training, it cannot be removed. But David argues that retracted articles were often hard to identify in academic databases, even without the context of AI, before the advent of tools like Retraction Watch. So he suggests that the focus should shift from reactive criticism to developing more accurate AI models and ensuring retracted material is clearly marked or excluded.
What was I saying? And are the big LLM providers really that interested in this kind of like tiny industry?
Right, right. And future
I hope
solutions.
they are, but I'm not sure.
Well, we don't know. I mean, the thing is, such I guess discourses need to happen, and this needs to obviously reach the big LLM
Yeah,
providers as well.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
future solutions involve improving initial data quality, ensuring transparency in AI training data, and developing robust metadata standards for identifying unreliable content. So, this is pretty much what you said. So, Tony, I will now switch to the next one, Helen
No, I was going
King's.
to say one of the things I've noticed recently as well is that there's more and more requests from publishers to retrospectively check their archives.
Yeah.
Are there other papers that need to be retracted? Because it's not just new content that's which using it which has content that's worthy of retraction. It's a much deeper issue
Yeah.
potentially.
Right. So Helen King also commented on it on her Substack as a post. Sorry, as a note, I think. So this all these. I mean, the first article was brought to, I guess, all of our knowledge by in James Butcher's collection of AI related articles in one of the recent Journalology episodes. So
Yeah.
she sort of factors in both these responses. Ken's primary response. So she points out that if an article isn't LLM, it cannot be removed. But she suggests that we have generally as a society do not interact with the models themselves, but the products or the applications that interact with the models. So there can be a layer where the even though the models cannot sort of um, you cannot remove the retracted articles from the models, but within that application or the layer that we interact with it, we have checks in place so that when the user searches something, the responses or the answers are not based on these retracted articles, because that is provided as information. So what do you think of that as an idea?
Great. I don't know. There has to be a measure. This is one interesting solution, but it has to be an industry-wide initiative, I think, for it to work.
Right. So basically, guardrails at one either at the training level, data sort
Yeah,
of
well, but
annotation
then
level.
again, the guardrails at the training level, guardrails at the editorial level, guardrails at the usage level. If there's one good use of AI here, particularly, it's being able to use those guardrails to demonstrate, whether something's accurate, appropriate, correct or not.
Right, right. All right. So moving on to the next theme, the first three articles were about LLM retractions. The next one is titled "The Impact of LLMs on Online News Consumption and Production." So this is obviously about Google AI overviews and everything. And the worry is that LLM interfaces can answer quickly, directly, and which may reduce click-through traffic that funds news. This is related to news and journalism, but it also very much applies to publishing. And the article's focus is on newspapers and uses multiple data sources so that they can separate total traffic from human browsing. That this is total traffic also includes robots and AI spiders and all of that. So the one counterintuitive point is that the blocking, if suppose you block the robots etc, using robots or text etc, that eventually leads to decrease actual human content usage as well. So blocking may not be the best way to solve this problem where most of the traffic is non-human, and most humans end their sort of journey to find the news at this Google search overview. So this I
Humans will find a way. They will always find a way.
yeah, but human beings are increasingly not even bothering to go past the first search thing, and then you and I probably do the same thing, Tony. The point is you need to provide better sort of mechanisms to encourage humans to go to the actual source instead of
Yeah,
stopping there.
yeah,
It
yeah,
cannot be
yeah, yeah, yeah.
blocking the robots. That's the thing. And
And let's hope the source is accurate.
right, right. So this is why we need different solutions, and this is something that I think the academic publishing industry is also worried about in terms of decreasing traffic to actual research papers and publisher websites and everything. And I thought it was a very good sort of way to think about how to solve the problem by not blocking. Just simply blocking robots may not help the cause. That's a
But
main point here.
the industry is not concerned specifically about falling usage. I don't think we're seeing that necessarily. I mean, there may be in some cases journals where usage is falling. What they're more concerned about is the increasing use of AI and crawlers and other bots to scrape the content.
Right.
That's what the industry is really concerned about.
Right, and if you block it, if you somehow make a check mechanism so that these robots and crawlers cannot use it, then the human traffic will also decrease, is a finding of this study as per news article.
Okay, yeah, no, I see the logic.
Yeah,
I see the logic.
right, right. All right, moving on to the next point. It's a science article called it's an editorial in Science called "Resisting AI Slop." So science actually allows for editing and gathering. AI use in editing and gathering references, but authors must declare if AI helped write the text. So AI cannot be
Yeah,
used to
yeah, yeah,
generate text and to create images. So authors are always responsible for content, even if it is AI assisted. That's a sort of foundational sort of principle here. And science uses AI tools to catch plagiarism and checks for data sharing compliance. So while AI helps in identifying issues, Tony, the human review is still crucial, and the author uh, of the article is skeptical about AI causing massive job losses in science. But the bigger worry is AI degrading the reliability of scientific literature, and science prohibits reviewers from using AI to generate reviews, but allows it for text refinement, but if only if it is declared. So the journal emphasizes careful editing and human judgment to maintain literature integrity, and the journal believes that their smaller journals are susceptible to AI slop, but acknowledges no system is perfect. So basically, I thought that because of the sort of where science stands, and this editorial would serve as a good example of how one should treat, as a publisher, as a journal, should treat AI assistants in general across the workflow. So your thoughts on this?
absolutely. And and science is one of those very top tier journals which will already have people in place and mechanisms in place to identify bad actors and bad content. But what they're doing is they're reinforcing those human processes with good, sensible, strong tools like data seer and other tools as well to ensure that as much rubbish as possible has been removed from their workflow as possible. No, they thrive and survive and thrive on guaranteeing quality.
Right.
And these are very positive steps, very positive comments, I think.
Right. All right. Moving on to two related Wikipedia related stories. The first one is a book review. We're Humans, Brilliant and a Mess. Wikipedia founder Jim Wales on trust and optimism. So, Jim Wales, obviously, it's about a book review, but there are comments from Jim Wales. This is the man behind Wikipedia. He emphasizes that Wikipedia values expertise by requiring citation from reputable sources, not by restricting who can edit. So, it's basically a community participation kind of a thing. Collaboration. He believes transparency is a key rule of trust, crucial for science itself. So I'm extrapolating that. And Wikipedia aims for consensus and balanced viewpoints, acknowledging that achieving this is an ongoing challenge. Efforts are being made to increase the diversity among editors, but it remains a work in progress. And when I read all of this, Tony, when I sort of synthesized all of this is exactly the same problems that science and open access science also sort of goes through. And Wales clarifies that Wikipedia operates on accountability, on an accountability culture, not a gatekeeping one, despite editors using pseudonyms. And he notes that while bad faith actors exist, Wikipedia's reliance on sourced information prevents them from easily succeeding in the bad actors easily
Yeah,
succeeding.
yeah,
And they also, I think, regarding the use of AI, the use of AI for editing is permissible for grammar assistance, but AI generated content itself requires citation. And Wales finally sees generative AI's tendency to hallucinate as a problem of trust, but hopes that it'll encourage a renewed appreciation for human fact checking and journalism. And I think that the last bit, the human fact checking, what will remain in terms of our role as human beings is the fact that we should have we should be responsible for the overview of whatever AI assisted workflows, and that is the power of humans. That is what we should sort of stress on. And I think you and I, in various sort of angles in terms of dissecting the same problem, have come to the same conclusion that human
I think
oversight
with
is
136 episodes of discussing this
yes.
to manage and control, I do want to buy the book though. I'd be very interested in reading this book.
Yeah, I think James Butcher is also, I think, planning to read this book, if I'm not mistaken. I think,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, um, then the next article is related to it. Wikipedia Inc. In the sense it is related to Wikipedia Inc.'s AI deals with Microsoft, Meta, and Perplexity as it marks its 25th birthday. So, what is this? AI companies are using Wikipedia content to train their models, and to provide answers. But Wikipedia is now entering deals so that they have to pay for it, which means that they can obviously support Wikipedia can support itself, and it provides the right framework. All the good work done by Wikipedia and its editors and the people behind it should amount up to something. So this is a basic summary of the article. So what do you think? I mean, this is
Oh,
related
good
to.
news. Maybe I'll get less pop-ups when I use Wikipedia. Donate $2 today. I mean, I've done that a number of times. I continue to do it. So I
Right.
find it it's not a perfect source, but I find it a very useful source.
Right, right. And so we just talked about Wikipedia's use of AI, and we have the last main story. It's a worldview article from Nature, and it's titled "AI Can Spark Creativity If We Ask It How and Not What to Think." So the basic sort of gist of the article is that when using AI, we should ask it how to think and not what to think. And this is because people tend to defer to AI suggestions, which can limit their own creative exploration. So a test called the Divergent Association Test, a DAT, shows this fact. And in the DAT, people are asked to come up with 10 semantically different nouns in 4 minutes. So AI bots perform about as well as human beings on the task. However, if people ask the bot for a process to improve their scores significantly increases. And the bot suggests thinking of a word categories first. So it basically helps human beings to think better, and hence we should I mean the main theme of the article is that we should not ask it what to think instead of how to think it and help us. So this is again AI assistance related and human oversight, I mean AI assisted workflow related. Any thoughts on this, Tony?
Yeah, this is a step towards answering the question: how can you ensure the quality and integrity of the education process? Well, if you're giving the student tools that will help them, how they will guide them in terms of how to think, not necessarily do the thinking for them, then that problem starts to disappear.
Right. Well, we covered a lot of responsible AI related main stories, and I think we have a couple of, I mean, 4 more quick hits. The first one, Tony, Google removes AI overviews for certain medical queries. So we have talked about open AI and Perplexity jumping into the health, consumer space in terms of providing. But Google has done the right thing by removing AI queries from certain queries because it may provide the wrong information. And that's all I have to say. Your thoughts on this? As in, is it the
Nothing
right?
more to say. As long as it shows that control mechanisms can work.
Yeah. And I just mentioned Anthropic. So Anthropic joins OpenAI's push into healthcare with new Claude tools. So these tools allow users to share health records with Claude AI platform. This is very similar
Yeah,
to the OpenAI tool. So basically,
yeah,
more and more people are getting into the health space. So I don't know. I mean,
not
I'm
surprising.
yes, and I think it's a good idea, as I mentioned in the last time and in the previous episode where we talked about OpenAI's initiatives. Health as a industry, healthcare as an industry struggles with communicating in a way that the patients and the consumers understand. So probably this is a good way, but it has to be in under the data privacy, etc. So this Claude AI is also HIPAA compliant. These applications are HIPAA compliant, which is very important from the medical and pharmaceutical industry point
Yeah,
of view.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And then another Claude related news: Claude Cowork automates complex tasks for you now at your own risk. And this is sort of an extension of the Claude code, which is taking the world by storm. A lot of people, Tony, including me, are using Claude code. And this is sort of an extension, enterprise extension for it. It allows basically Claude to access your data under obviously security conditions and everything. And it uses something called as Claude skills that you can build. And a week ago, there was a presentation in the STM Association, the communities of interest, where somebody took us through publishing related workflows for using Claude code, etc. I was fascinated. I think the industry is also, as in our STM publishing industry, is also moving towards using such tools.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you ready to jump into Claude code yet?
I no, but then again, I'm probably not the right person to ask.
All right, and finally, Tony, this is something that you shared with me. This is good news for the music industry in the context of AI. As AI music floods the zone, Bandcamp takes a stand. So it is to ban AI generated music altogether. And obviously, many platforms are struggling with this. And the general call is for all, I guess, main music streaming platforms to do something on the same lines. That's it. I want your thoughts because you probably have very passionate thoughts about it.
Oh, absolutely. I'll keep this brief. It's difficult enough for a musician to make a living these days anyway. There's no music, there's no real earnings from music sales anymore, at least not for the vast majority of musicians. Most musicians, professional musicians, are at best semi-professional because they have daytime jobs that pay the bills. And then the next threat was been the rise of AI in terms of creating music that can be used and can be licensed for for free, effectively in many cases.
Right.
So I'm glad. I think an industry responsive platform like Bandcamp has taken this stand, because it does a small thing. It is only a small thing, but I think it's quite iconic in the sense that it's important for the musician to know that there is a platform that's working in their interests.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of 137. You know why our podcast will never be banned on YouTube, because we are not AI generated. We are actual human beings talking to you, which might be difficult for you to imagine, considering that we have.
Speak for yourself, eh?
we have already come out with 100.
Speak for yourself, AI man.
Well, so Tony, I was referring to 137 episodes. So where can people find it, and how can they listen to it?
Keep it simple. You just go to YouTube, go to the Inago playlist, search for PubShorts, and you'll find all previous 136 episodes. Press that like button, share it with colleagues, leave some suggestions and comments for future topics, and enjoy the previous 136 episodes.
Yeah, over the course of an entire month. And with that, I leave
At least.
I leave you to ponder this, what we just asked of you. And until the next time, this is Dr. KK signing off on behalf of Tony and the team. Bye. We'll see you.
See you next one.